Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is 5:31 p.m. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, this meeting is officially open with a quorum present. We'll begin our meeting with the pledges to the United States and Texas flags. This evening, we will be led by the students from J.T. Stevens Elementary School, and because we are also in the midst of Deaf Awareness Week, we will have several students from Waverly Park Elementary who will sign the pledges. Their respective principals will introduce them in just a moment, but first, let's stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you so much, Vice President Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner. I am Jessica McNeil Johnson, the principal of J.T. Stevens Elementary School, and I have here with me this evening the Shuttleworth family. I have Henry, I have Eric, and I have George. I also have Kennedy and Kylie Phelps here with their parents. Mr. and Mrs. Phelps. Mr. Phelps is absent, but Grandma is here standing in, and Mr. and Mrs. Shuttleworth are also in the J.T. Stevens shirts. So thank you so much.
May I please add that Grandma also is one heck of an avid leader over at Poly High School. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. President Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner. I am Roberto Baeta, the principal at Waverly Park Elementary, home of the Regional School Day for the Deaf. And right behind me, I have my Deaf Nation. We have students, teachers, and parents. I have here Jackson Rodriguez, Emma Escalante, Mia Ramirez, Gabriela Hernandez, and Braden Scott. Thank you so much.
Clint Bond with the Communications Department will introduce our student greeters this evening, and somebody needs to get a close-up of those shirts from Waverly Park. They are awesome. And J.T. Stevens, too. Sorry, Trustee Dar.
Thank you, Vice President Jackson. Our greeters this evening are from the Army JROTC unit at Dunbar High School, where Oscar Adams is the principal. I will introduce the students and ask him to stand. We'll applaud them as we get everyone standing. We have Cadet Seda Medina, Cadet Jocelyn Martinez, Cadet Ruben Ramirez, and Cadet Jeanette Nava. And the senior Army instructor is Chief Warrant Officer, 4th Class, Lynn Taylor. And the JROTC department is, of course, led by Lieutenant Colonel Rich Crossley. This evening, we are delighted to be recognizing a parent volunteer from Rufino Mendoza Elementary School. Angie Zavala, would you please stand? Angie Zavala has quickly become an instrumental part of not only Rufino Mendoza Elementary, but also in the entire community. She is a parent that is always a phone call away, ready and willing to go above and beyond to help. Mrs. Zavala is an exemplary parent volunteer who not only spends her time volunteering at Rufino Mendoza, she participates in community outreach and stepped up to become the PTA president. She made it a family affair and got her husband in on the action by teaming up to coach the sports teams together. We don't know how she does it, but she also finds the time to give back to her other children's schools, M.G. Ellis Primary, J.P. Elder Middle School. An example of Mrs. Zavala's outstanding character and willingness to get the community involved was just last month when she coordinated a back-to-school event to benefit the students at Mendoza Elementary. Mrs. Zavala teamed up with the United Lowrider Council and other local community business to organize a car show that earned over $2,200, with proceeds going to uniforms and other clothing items for Mendoza students, just in time for back to school. Principal Jennifer Sanchez says Mrs. Zavala is a champion for our students and families. As PTA president, she leads a highly dedicated and growing group of parents, staff, and community members focused on providing resources and opportunities for our students and their families. Her leadership exemplifies our message to all members of the Rufino Mendoza Elementary family, past, present, and future, that you belong here. Thank you, Angie Zavala, for being an exemplary volunteer helping students, and not only that, but working within your community. Family Communications Director Jennifer Perez will now present her with a certificate of appreciation. With the adoption of House Bill 174, the 83rd Texas Legislature proclaimed the last Friday in September as American Indian Heritage Day. That will be this coming Friday. This special day celebrates the historic culture and social contributions American Indian communities and leaders have made to Texas. American Indian Heritage Day provides the opportunity for public ceremonies, activities, and programs to be displayed in public schools and other places to honor American Indians and to celebrate the rich traditional and contemporary American Indian culture. We have several representatives of the American Indian community with us this evening, and I would ask that they stand and introduce themselves, their roles in the district, and the tribes they represent.
I'm Letty Luna, and I'm a Fort Worth ISD school nurse, but I work as the camp nurse.
My name is Terry Hunter. I'm from the Kiowa Tribe of Oklahoma, and I help with the school to help sewing with our regalia.
I'm Allison Pollock, a member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma and a proud parent at West Park Elementary.
CJ Pollitt, Choctaw.
I'm Amaya Blakely. I'm a student at the YWLA, and I'm part of the Narragansett tribe.
I think we lost that mic.
I'm Ashira Blakely. I go to World Languages Institute, and I'm part of the Narragansett tribe.
I'm Pamela Bennett. I work at Edward J. Briscoe. I also work with this program, and I am a Choctaw, Oklahoma Indian. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Regina Blakely, the parents of the Blakely children. I'm a parent volunteer, and I'm from the Narragansett tribe of Rhode Island.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Gravel, and I am the liaison over the American Indian Education Program.
Hi, my name is Crystal Bloomer. I am Cherokee and Apache, and I'm an instructional coach for Fort Worth ISD, and I also volunteer for the American Indian Program whenever I can.
I'm Andrea Rogers. I'm at Young Women's Leadership Academy. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma.
I am Angeli Henry. I am her daughter. And I am a student at Alice Carlson.
Thank you.
Thank you, one and all. This is Hispanic Heritage Month. As many of you arrived this evening, you saw a video montage of the wide variety of activities across our district celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Represented were Pascal High School, George C. Clark Elementary, World Languages Institute, Worth Heights Elementary, Versia Williams, Nathan Howell Elementaries, and YWLA. Simultaneously, you were treated to music by students who attend J.P. Elder Middle School, where Davis Trimble is principal. The students are members of Mariachi Beceros del Norte and Mariachi Estrella Tejana, with Wendy Martinez directing. In just a moment, we're going to hear from them again. Y esta noche, 4 estudiantes de la Escuela Primaria Dolores Huerta están aquí para platicar acerca de una celebración muy especial que tuvieron hace unos meses. And this evening, 4 students from Dolores Huerta Elementary are here to tell us about a very special celebration earlier this year.
In April 2018, the Fort Worth ISD Board of Education passed a resolution that gives students a class holiday each spring to honor Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. Trustee Mr. Jacinto Ramos Jr. asked students to spend the day doing something for their community.
In other words, it's not a day off, but a day on, because that's the best way to honor 2 civil rights leaders who worked hard and did so much for our country.
Almost 1 year later, on March 25, 2019, the district kicked off its very first Dolores Huerta / Cesar Chavez Day of Service. The celebration was held at Tarrant County College Trinity River campus, and Dolores Huerta was there in person.
We are one family, she told the crowd. Whatever you do, think about service to others. And she reminded students that they could get more done working together.
The festivities featured the Cheer Squad at Young Women's Leadership Academy, Mariachi Espuelas de Planta Northside High School, My Brother's Keeper, and others.
From there, students went to work on service projects across the community at Cook's Children's, the Presbyterian Night Shelter, Eastside Blossoms, the Community Food Bank, and Safe House.
Students and others at Luella Merritt Elementary painted a huge mural on a wall at Frank Kent Cadillac Body Shop. The painting is about education, and that is something Ms. Huerta and Mr. Chavez championed for all students.
Fort Worth ISD was one of the first school districts in Texas to name a student holiday for Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez.
The holiday comes one day a year, but every day the work and values of Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez are reflected in our district's mission to prepare all students for success in college, career, and community leadership. ¡Sí se puede! Yes, we can!
Thank you to Ebony Gonzalez, Saul Puga, Abelina Rivas, and Asante Rivera. Let's give them a hand again. And as promised, we're going to hear one more selection by the J.P. Elder students from Machiari Beceros del Norte and Mariachi Estrella Tejano. Wendy Martinez is the director.
I think we need one more round of applause. Those are middle school students. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, but I especially want to thank the J.T. Stevens parents and the Waverly Park parents. Could you please stand up so we can give you an appropriate round of applause? And we have one more recognition. About a month ago, I was approached by Byron Chamberlain, who played for the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings, and he's an Eastern Hills High School alum, and he said, we have an opportunity to open the NFL All-Pro Day experience here in Fort Worth, Texas, but I need some help. And I called Dr. Washington, and she was thrilled to move 1,350 students on a Thursday and Friday, which were both school days, over to Texas Wesleyan for this event with very little notice. But she made it happen. So did Todd Vesley, our athletic director, and so did Lieutenant Colonel Richard Crossley. And I think what was so important about this event is so many kids that are D1 football, Division I football players believe they can make it to the pros and they don't have a plan B or a plan C. This program actually showed them it's okay to have that belief that you can play pro ball, but if you don't, here are other ways you can be involved in professional sports, whether it's hockey, football, basketball. And so I'm going to let Lieutenant Colonel Crossley tell you what the day meant to him. I can tell you what it meant to our kids. Every one of them I talked to said they'd love to go back again next year. So I want to certainly thank each of our staff for making it happen. We had 50 kids from Castleberry there, but I believe 1,350 kids from Fort Worth ISD. Lieutenant Colonel.
Dr. Scribner, school board, good afternoon. I will share with you what the cadets, the students got out of it, but also what Fort Worth ISD got out of it. That day, although short, was fantastic. It was college, it was career, and it was military readiness, all put there together. Our students got a college visit. They got to talk to noteworthy individuals, Super Bowl winners, about their journey to success. That was inspiring. Experiential. They got a hand to deal with those Microsoft software, the things that they're learning in the classroom. That was the application of it. It was remarkable. I will read to you a short excerpt of one of the essays of one of the students, Cadet Master Sergeant Roy Castellanos. And it was, listen to his words. On the 6th of September 2019, I had the pleasure of going to an NFL Pro Day experience. One of the things I really enjoyed and admired about the trip was the amount of wisdom we had under one roof. We were introduced to a lot of noteworthy people and their stories, which really inspired me. At first, everyone was a little intimidated by the accomplishment of these people, and no one was brave enough to ask the first question until someone from my unit raised their hand and got the ball rolling with the question she asked. She asked a question on how to get a business she's been planning started. Soon more and more people started to ask questions. And after a while, I garnered enough confidence to ask my own question that would really help me out since I've gotten older. I've realized that you can't please everyone. So what do you do? How do you come to a compromise? They told me to build up my trust, stay humble, know the mission, and to not be afraid to admit my failures. That is leadership. That is the only way to community leadership and success in college. If I were to summarize the events in 3 words, I'll say it was short and sweet, which is a good thing. I have no doubt that everyone who got the opportunity to go gained something out of the field trip. And I hope to go on more trips like this with other JROTC units in the district. And this is a short summary of what every one of those cadets had to write about that experience. It was a fantastic experiential learning experience. So on behalf of the Corps cadets, thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you to all of our staff for working very hard with a short timeline to get it done. Let's please give them a round of applause. At this time, we will recess to allow the board to greet students and the community, and we'll be back in our chairs in 2 minutes. At this time, we'll move to number 4 on our agenda, Lone Star Governance. Goal Progress Measure 1.1, Fort Worth ISD Universal Screener. I'm going to hand it off to our superintendent, Dr. Scribner.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jackson. Tonight we're going to update the community on our Goal Progress Measure 1.1, the Fort Worth ISD Universal Screener with regard to early literacy as part of our Lone Star Governance series. And with that, I'll turn it over to our interim Chief Academic Officer, Jerry Moore.
Vice President Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner, I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you this evening, and we are happy to present information about Fort Worth ISD Goal Progress Measure 1.1, our Fort Worth increased performance in K through 3 on our Literacy Universal Screener. Joining the presentation this evening, we have Sarah Rispy, our Associate Superintendent for Assessment and Data Quality, Dr. Cheryl Mixon, Executive Director for Early Learning, Sharon Upaka, Elementary Literacy Director, and of course Dr. Raul Peña, our Chief of Elementary Schools. To draw your attention back to the graphic representation we have for the Division of Academics, tonight's presentation will focus on early childhood and elementary literacy. As you all know, Goal 1 of our District Lone Star Governance Goals, early literacy, is to increase student performance in third grade reading as measured by STAR on level standard. To be more specific tonight, we will talk about Goal Progress Measure 1.1, students in grades kinder through third, reading on grade level as measured by the Fort Worth ISD Universal Screener. Our plan tonight is to share our data from school year 2018-19, discuss what we are doing differently this year, both to track progress and to ensure increased student performance in our classrooms, and then also to share improvements to be deployed as this school year progresses. With that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Arispe, and she's going to get us started off.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I wanted to share with you some information, first of all, specific to third grade, since that is our overall Goal 1 for reading literacy. On our screener at third grade, we use Achieve, and we look at Lexile level and have watched that grow over the years. So the graph in front of you shows that while the overall goal is for 4 grade levels, K, 1, 2, and 3, at third grade specifically, we've seen some good gains from 2017 to 2018 and 2018 to 2019 as represented by that dark red line. We went from 24 points or 24% of students on level based on the screener in 2017 to 36% last year, so a 12-point gain over those 2 years. Our goal was 37, and we were very close to that goal with our third grade students. When we look at the goal combined across the 4 grade levels, grade 3 plus grade K, 1, and 2, we have a little less gain there. It's at 31%. So we still saw some nice gains, 2 percentage points per year, but not as much as the third grade standing alone. Now I want to break that down for you by grade level now and by student group. So this first graph is going to show you for 2018-2019 how our students in kindergarten did. In 2018-19, the measure for kindergartners in the screener was part of Smarty Ants. All students there, you'll see on that red bar, we're at 30%. And then we can look at the different groups of students. Hispanic, African American, and white are the next 3 bars. Then ED stands for our economic disadvantaged group of students. EL is our English learners, and SE is for special ed. And you can see the performance of each of those groups. And then the combined, of course, is the all bar. We also used Smarty Ants last year as a measure for grade 1. And you'll see there the all students performance and then the group performance for each of the groups. You may have noticed on kindergarten and then again on the grade 1 slide that the Hispanic group is lower than the all students group. Hispanic is our majority student group in the district. However, on Smarty Ants, while the program was available in both English and Spanish, reporting was not fully developed in Spanish, so it was difficult for us to pull some data there. And the board approved at a meeting earlier in the year a switch to our MAP for the NWA MAP fluency for reading, and this will give us a consistent measure in English and Spanish with full reporting for K, 1, 2, and 3. So moving on to grade 2, here we're using Achieve data and Lexile level growth, and you'll see that those balance out a little bit more as you would expect and usually see with our groups. So all students is at the top, and again the student groups are below, and that shows the Lexile gain at the end of the year, our students reading on level based on Lexile. And finally, here's our third grade data, and that's the one I started off with. That 36% last year of students at the end of the year were on level based on their Lexile. As we move into this 2019-2020 school year, we will have that NWA MAP data for all students, again, in K, 1, 2, and 3. So there's a measure at second and third of both Achieve and NWA MAP, and we can do some comparison. The other good thing about this is that the NWA MAP reading fluency is an adaptive assessment. So students take that, they all start off in the same place with some sentence reading, and based on how they do, they may go up to some oral reading passages, or they may go down to foundational skills if they're working below level, and then they are assessed further on various skills. There is a whole suite of reports which we'll be excited to bring back to you at mid-year if you'd like to see those with progress from beginning of year to middle of year. But we will be able to see for each grade level the percentage of students below, approaching, meeting, and exceeding grade level. We'll also be able to see for students the various skills and how they perform. This example is phonological awareness, so the awareness of the sounds that words make, and phonics, or word recognition. And there are a host of other skills that are assessed with this. Teachers will have class reports, and this is small. I just wanted to give you a taste of it, though. You'd see the teacher has some example students going down the left-hand side of the screen. And for students that are at or about grade level, that top group of students, they'll have a variety of information about each student at the skill level. For those few students that are toward the bottom of the list, those kids are working on foundational skills, so they may be below level, but there's still a lot of information there that can help the teacher find those kids where they are and move them forward on each skill. And then there will also be student reports with this, so that a student like this sample student, Donna, who's working primarily on level in words correct per minute, she's also reading at an instructional level above grade level. And for students in the same class, like Bianca, who is below level working on foundational skills, we know how she's doing on decoding and comprehension. So we're very excited about the additional data and information we'll be able to bring you and that teachers will have in the classroom for students with our NWA MAP.
We acknowledge that all students aren't exactly where we would like them to be in this data. You just saw an exposure to the new tracking system that we will have, the new universal screener that will provide a better tool and greater information for our principals and our teachers to plan from. But that alone will not get us the increases in student achievement that we would like to see. Today, Dr. Mixon and Ms. Upaka would now like to outline changes to the curriculum, our instructional practices, and our professional learning that will support our teachers and more specifically support our students to meet grade level expectations by reading on standard. Dr. Mixon?
So in response to the needs of our teachers and our students, we're focusing in on facilitating professional learning that's aligned to literacy and connected to literacy. So for example, one of the sessions we offered this past month or so was using literacy to bring math to life. So we brought in picture books for teachers to look at that were not math related to help them think about how can you use a book as a springboard to, sorry, didn't get to the slide, thank you, as a springboard to teach math concepts with picture books. The key literacy components that we're focusing in on are phonological awareness, phonics, comprehension, vocabulary, oral reading fluency, and authentic writing. To further support our teachers, we've aligned the district-approved resources, the new literacy adoption, our curriculum documents, the NIHOUSE and NSRA resources that we have, to assist teachers in applying all of the tools that they've gained from professional learning in their classroom instruction. And we're constantly looking at ways to fine-tune what we're doing in our professional learning sessions. Our largest professional learning session we've had thus far this year was our August the 13th and 14th days, where we had over 800 pre-K, K, and first grade teachers engaged in hands-on professional learning opportunities. The feedback we received from the teachers was overwhelmingly positive, can see on this graph. And we want to continue to collect information from our teachers to make sure that we're doing what's best for their needs. And as they go back to their classroom, we want them to, of course, apply literacy across all content areas. So the cross-curricular connection to literacy is key because it creates an authentic opportunity for students to apply concepts that they're learning across all content areas. So for example, looking at sorting objects. So if students were sorting objects by the beginning sound, such as the picture in the slide, they would be sorting, say, M and S. So sorting the objects between the sounds. So sorting is a math skill, but they're obviously applying the letter knowledge as well. So you're seeing a combination of those skills in that instruction. And we're also seeing teachers delivering the instruction in various modes. So you'll start out seeing teachers doing whole group instruction. So they have children on the carpet and they're probably reading a story or something of that nature and possibly building on comprehension skills. As they finish their whole group time, children move into their independent opportunities in the learning centers and learning stations where they have a chance to practice the tasks and skills that are being taught. So for example, you might see in the construction center children working on contractions, as the image shows, where they're putting together parts of words to make a contraction or taking them apart. And during that time, as the children are engaged in their independent work, the teacher is able to pull over a small group to work with them around literacy skills that they have need of. And of course, we also have teachers that can get into the individualized instruction because we have students that have specific needs one-on-one, and that's a chance teachers can do that in the classroom. So you'll see all these different modes of instruction across the day.
Our continued work centers around our district scope and sequence. We have redesigned our scope and sequence to be clear and user-friendly. This is an example of a third grade scope and sequence. Now, our overall goal is for our third graders to read on grade level by the end of third grade. In order for this to occur, we must begin at the beginning with our youngest students. So let's take a moment and look at the state standard 3.3b. Here's an example of a vertical alignment to that state standard. You'll notice that our pre-K students, at our pre-K level, our students are asked to learn several new words daily. We want our students to use large speaking vocabulary. You'll recognize that at kindergarten and first grade level, the standard is the same. And our students are to focus on clarifying word meanings. And they can do this by using different illustrations and text. Now, at the kinder and first grade level, that text can be read out loud to them, or if the students are able to read, they are able to read it themselves. At the second grade level, that's when you'll see some increase of difficulty because our students are tasked with defining unfamiliar words within a sentence and beyond a sentence. And at the third grade level, our students are adding on multiple meaning words within a sentence and beyond a sentence. So as we continue to monitor our students' growth through our progress monitoring and our universal screener, it's important for us to recognize how our expectations change from our students from one grade level to the next. Here's another example of 3.3b, of breaking down the standard, what the student is expected to do, use the context within a sentence for unfamiliar words and multiple meaning words, and also beyond a sentence for unfamiliar words and multiple meaning words. All of our professional learning is including discussions around vertical alignments and also breaking down our standards. Continued professional learning for grades 2 through 3 are core reading skills, which is phonological awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. You may notice that these are exactly the same of what's happening in pre-K, K, and 1, as we're working to ensure that we have a strong alignment through our literacy practices. Our state of Texas has also implemented in grades 4 and 5 continued support for phonemic knowledge all the way through 5th grade. We will also continue to support our priority campuses in professional learning. And because Achieve 3000 begins our model lessons, because Achieve 3000 is our universal screener beginning in 2nd and 3rd grade, we will implement model classroom lessons as well.
On June 27th, elementary school leadership initiated a strong focus and urgency with literacy by sending out a one-page literacy quick start guide to all our principals and assistant principals, as a portion of it is on the slide. The guide included NWEA MAP fluency timelines, Achieve 3000 progress monitoring timelines, and a focus on developing a strong literacy implementation plan at each campus. We also asked administrators to create a campus professional development plan which included a literacy focus for the school year. In addition, we're supporting principals with literacy implementation planning. So what does that look like? The focus will be our top 25 priority campuses identified by the State Accountability System and our district school performance framework. Each one of these schools will identify 2 third-grade teachers, an instructional coach, a data analyst, and an assistant principal and principal to attend a planning support session each 6 weeks with executive directors to support them with that planning. Additionally, during this time, they will receive support from Achieve 3000 to help them support the fidelity to implementation of Achieve. During the summer and start of the school year, executive directors have worked with principals to embed the 3rd grade literacy board goal into their campus education improvement plan, which will be presented to you in October. An intentional focus has been placed on working toward attaining the MEET goal for each campus versus the approaches goal to be more intentional with our college and career readiness focus. In summary, campus visits for executive directors have been prioritized for intentional support with our highest priority campuses. For example, all Tier 4 and 5 campuses receive weekly visits from their executive directors. All Tier 2 and 3 campuses receive biweekly visits. And our highest performing campuses, Tier 1, receive about a visit once a month. These campuses are visited to provide wraparound campus support to ensure that student growth based on their earned autonomy and school need.
So what's next? What's to come? This past school year, literacy staff, along with school leadership, principals, and teachers, developed an aligned vision for literacy. We provided you a copy of that document in your handouts. This document outlines our beliefs, our expectations, and our practice for what teaching literacy in Fort Worth ISD actually looks like. This year, we must ensure communication, education, and utilization of this document in all classrooms in Fort Worth ISD across this district. Alignment will be our key. We also need to support all teachers in understanding that regardless of what subject area you teach, we are all literacy teachers. An engaged literacy strategy, which you are provided with in your handouts as well, is a strategy, a process for all teachers to follow when students are interacting with a text or when students are reading to learn. This strategy has been developed and integrated into our district online curriculum. We provided learning opportunities for our teachers in all content areas so that they can understand this strategy and implement this reading strategy in their day-to-day instruction. The last 2 items we've listed here for next steps we've discussed previously. As you know, we are developing and will deploy foundational literacy academies this spring with an intentional focus on kindergarten through 3rd grade teachers. What does teaching literacy in Fort Worth ISD look like, and how do we support teachers in attaining that? Our aligned coaching initiative is up and running, and our first round of coaching training completes tomorrow for all instructional coaches across the district. We know that both of these initiatives will support teachers in providing higher quality literacy instruction for all students here in Fort Worth ISD. We thank you for the opportunity to update you on this goal progress measure, and we would all be happy to take any questions or comments you may have.
Thank you all for a great presentation. I wanted to ask one question. Literacy academies, K through 3, I believe you said.
Yes, ma'am.
How will they roll out? Is that already the architecture's there, or are we working on it?
We are building right now. Of course, we will encourage all of our teachers to participate. The expectation will be that all teachers will receive training in our literacy academies if you are a K through 3 teacher before next year starts. We will incentivize teachers who want to participate in literacy academies this spring. But then we will also utilize our flex time over the summer for any other teacher who would like to use their time in the summer as opposed to after hours to receive that training. So we'll work with the teacher for what works best with them and their schedule.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Trustee Andor.
Thank you very much for that report. A question about, I've got several questions. How are you encouraging authentic writing in the K through 3 grades? Is there a specific program that we're using? Is there an approach, a philosophy? How is this happening?
Certainly. I'll be happy to talk, and then Ms. Upaka can add on as well. Our foundational writing program is Lucy Calkins Units of Study. So really looking at a process for foundational writing, what it means to be engaged with your writing, reading writing connections, and really creating from an authentic perspective. What we're trying to stay away from is the formulaic writing that we know teaches a student how to follow steps, but maybe does not engage a student with what authentic writing needs to look like in developing the innate skills for our students to write. Ms. Upaka, anything else you would like to add to that?
We encourage the use of mentor text as well for model writing, so using an author, and whenever you use that reading knowledge for the book with the student, and then helping the student model that in their writing in the classrooms as well.
Has specific training on this been provided for the teachers?
Yes, certainly. We've actually been training on the Lucy Calkins writing process for a number of years now.
Good.
It's part of our flex hours that we provide to our teachers as well as additional hours, and we do have coaches and staff that continue to support that with our teachers throughout the year.
Good. A second question is, I've been hearing great things about the new scope and sequence and the realignment for that. Have we also modified the benchmark testing and the assessments that are being given so that we are ensuring that what the students are being tested over is also what they should have been and have been taught?
That's a fantastic question, and we would. I'd love to sit down and show you how we've put the entire unit guide together for our teachers and our students. Actually, within the curriculum, we actually start with the assessment. We have rewritten the assessment, and we are designing our curriculum in a backwards design, so that we are making sure that whatever high leverage TEKS that we are testing during that unit, our assessment, we start with that in our assessment, we design our assessment, and then we create our instruction tied into what we're actually assessing for the unit.
I will take you up on that offer to sit down and visit about this.
Great.
And my last question, I have actually two more. How are we reaching or meeting the needs of students that are above level?
Great question. We actually have a strong gifted and talented program. We have a gifted and talented program that does not only serve identified students, but serves a talent pool of students across the district. Our goal is to meet the top 10% of learners at each campus and each of our student groups at each grade level. We have teachers that deploy throughout the district that are specifically trained on high academic programming, and this is specific to the elementary level. And they're actually working with our students that have been identified at each grade level every week. And then, of course, in our middle schools and high schools, we are utilizing our advanced academic courses. We are utilizing our dual credit and advanced placement courses to meet the needs of those students as well.
Okay. My last question, I promise. Can you explain a little bit more about what an Achieve 3000 model classroom lesson is?
Sure. And actually, probably, Ms. Upaka would probably be best to answer that one for you.
So what we found is oftentimes we will pull teachers out of class, pay for substitutes for them to come attend professional development. After they attend professional development, we ask them to take that back to their campus and implement. We have found that if we take the professional learning to the campus, we've had more success. So for us to actually model lessons with teachers, with our students, teachers are more likely to turn that model lesson around and implement it more effectively in their building at that time instead of spending sub money and costs of that nature. So that is why we're encouraging and we are excited about the Achieve model lessons to model what the 5-step lesson looks like in the classroom. Welcome.
Thank you, Trustee Dar. Trustee Quentin Phillips.
Yes, thank you very much. I really do appreciate this report. Thank you for your work. And, you know, I thank you for beginning the presentation with showing us where we were in 2017 and how we have improved. That shows that work is being done. It means that people are getting on it. Something is happening to get us somewhere, that we're going somewhere. As much as I applaud that, and I'm grateful, and I hope that we continue to go upward as we are, the numbers are still so disheartening. It's still so disheartening. Because I have this utopian view in my head of the students in which we serve, and I just see them all, they're so very capable, and then when I'm looking down at 27 and 30%, and I mean, that's just, it's baffling to me. And it's not to blame any one individual or saying that someone is doing something so wrong, but clearly something isn't right either. If we haven't gotten to the point to where the numbers can show that all of our students are absolutely capable. They really are. So, off of the soapbox on that, the question I have is one, who, all of you spoke, so maybe it's a composite of all of you, or maybe it's other people who may not even be present at the moment, but who helped to comprise the literacy plan that we now have?
Sure. It was a joint effort. It was staff in the academics division that are focused on providing leadership in the area of literacy. It was also principals and teachers, so we brought a group together to talk about what does literacy instruction look like in Fort Worth ISD. How can we make sure that we identify what our beliefs about teaching literacy? You will see is it has a foundation in balanced literacy in the document, that we have a foundational belief that the teacher not only works with the entire class, but works with small groups of students on student levels, so that we make sure we're meeting the individual needs of our students in the classroom while supporting all learners in the classroom. And then we've also provided resources not only that we provide to every classroom from the district, but also a list of approved resources, additional materials that teachers could use that will align with our online curriculum that we have for teachers, with the resources we already have, so that teaching and learning can be seamless and can be aligned to our state standards as well.
Okay, and so the new literacy plan is just, when did it begin to be implemented?
Yeah, so we actually did not roll it out until the beginning of this year. Okay. We worked on it last year. We introduced it to our principals this summer when we did the principal event this summer for our principals preparing for this school year. I wanted to share with the board here, our goal this year is to actually get that literacy definition and vision embedded into our classrooms. So we worked last year to create the vision. Now our job this year is to get it embedded with our teachers in their actual practice and what's happening in the classrooms this year.
Okay, and so we haven't even hit our full report card cycle, so I understand that we don't have data as of yet.
Correct.
To be able to show its effectiveness, but indulge me, word on the street, anything, conversations you've had, or teachers begin to take to the new literacy plan? Is it another document that they're putting on the desk and continuing to doing what they're doing? Or are they actually taking to this, or how is this being implemented there?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a developmental process, a process that's going to take a continued learning and support. It's going to take working hand in hand with our teachers to understand how we reach all learners in our classroom and provide the supports through resources, materials, instructional practices so that teachers can actually implement. I feel like we have heard positive results from our teachers on the new curriculum that we have available, the new resources that we have, how we've aligned what's available in the classroom. It's going to be a joint effort between academics and school leadership to be in those schools to make sure our teachers are utilizing those resources and making sure that instruction is effective on a daily basis. So a work in progress would be the best way I could answer that for you.
No, I appreciate that. Okay, and Jerry, you're not on the hot seat, so anybody can answer. It's all good. So with that being the case, and we have other trustees who would like to speak as well. So we have the literacy plan. I see the engaged literacy strategies for elementary. Dr. Scribner says all the time, and I appreciate him for saying it, and I completely wholeheartedly agree with him, that student outcomes will not change unless adult behaviors change. So what's being presented today is that y'all are telling me, Q, we have a literacy plan. Within this is the adult behaviors that are going to change student outcomes. Am I hearing that correctly?
You are hearing that correctly, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Phillips. Trustee Norman Robbins.
Thank you, Mrs. Jackson. I appreciate this information very much. I hope that we all have a sense of urgency with this. We really must have a much larger percentage of our students being successful, and it's going to rely on all of us to make that happen. I would like us to receive this kind of information more frequently than less. So you offered to, I would encourage us to look at this all the time. This is our number one priority. And I would hope if you share some information with Mrs. Dar, I would like to also get that information.
I'll be glad to do that.
I
Yes,
could
sir.
understand it better and be able to make sure we're moving the right way.
I'll take you up on that.
So thank you.
Mr. Robbins, just to touch on that, I've been working with Dr. Howard with TEA, who's our Senior Director for Governance, and really trying to align our Lone Star governance reports to our goal progress measures and using the data. So you're going to see more reports aligned, and he's given us feedback at TEA. He's offered for us to send our reports to him and him give us the feedback. So we heard trustees last board meeting that challenged our Lone Star governance presentation, and we accepted that challenge, and we've been working with TA directly to align those. As you'll see, our goal progress measures, and as you, the board trustees, know, we'll be looking at reviewing our goals in December as a district and as a board as well. We do have beginning of the year BOY, middle of the year MOY, and EOY data points for not only literacy but for math. So you will see these type of presentations from here on out. And any feedback on this type that you'd like to see more of, as far as if there's anything that we are missing that you would like to see the cycle. But we will always start with the Lone Star governance with the goal, and then we'll do the response to the data, because the data is great, but what are we going to do next is the most important part.
Absolutely.
Any feedback is appreciated, and we do take it and work on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Robbins. Trustee Evans.
Thank you so much, and I want to echo their appreciation for this report. I like how in pages 6 through 9 you isolated race in the student populations. I'm wondering, though, if maybe isolating gender would also help us determine where some growth needs to happen, and specifically gender within those student populations that you already have broken down. So, and then I would also like a middle of the year update, and then when you get the beginning of the year data, that'd be great.
We'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Evans. Trustee Anael Luebanos.
Thank you. Thank you for this report. So what was the issue with Marianne's not reporting in Spanish?
I thought you would ask me that question, so thank you for doing so. The Smarty Ants program was great for the kids, and they were engaged in the program, but it was, you'll remember the first year that we had it, it was not available in Spanish, and so it was developed. We actually were a pilot for the Smarty Ants program. The reporting component, until they had several years of data, was not fully developed, and so teachers, while the kids were engaged in using it and it was benefiting them, teachers were not able to get the same discrete level of data about different skills for students in Spanish that they were able to get in English. And the company is working on developing those reports, but they could not give us a specific timeline when we would have fully comparable reports in English and Spanish. And as several of you pointed out, we have a sense of urgency, and we could not wait for that. And so we needed something that would be equally powerful in English and Spanish as far as reporting to teachers so that they could address student needs.
So this new program is going to do that for us now?
They already have those reports fully developed as we're doing the beginning of the year, yes.
The longer we wait, another year, another 2 years.
Correct.
We don't have time to 2025.
We do not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Luebanos. Thank you all for a great report. Looks like we're moving in the right direction. Look forward to frequent updates. Moving forward to number 5 on our agenda, public comment. At this time, we will hear public comment. Let me remind you that because of restrictions by the Texas Open Meetings Act, board members may not engage in a verbal exchange about a subject that has not been posted. We will listen and take notes, but the board is prohibited from responding to any inquiries made during a board meeting on any topic not posted on the agenda. However, the board may reply with 1, a statement of specific factual information given in response to the inquiry, 2, recitation of existing policy in response to the inquiry, or 3, direct the person to visit with staff about the issue. While the board listens to concerns of a general nature and issues of common and individual concern, this board will not hear complaints about specific individual employees or public officers during the public comment session. Speakers shall refrain from mentioning names of individual employees or public officers during their comments. Any employee, parent, or other member of the public is asked to comply with the appropriate grievance policy to have a complaint heard pursuant to the applicable board policy. In accordance with board policy BED local, speakers have a 3-minute time limit, and we ask that you please observe this rule. Furthermore, a speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another speaker. First speaker, Mr. Carlos Tercios. Second speaker, Robert Baker.
Good evening, Superintendent and Madam President Toby Jackson. My name is Carlos Tercios, and I'm the Fort Worth Sister Cities Community Outreach Deputy. Today I'll be talking about the Sister Cities activities. Sister Cities will be having wonderful opportunities. Students from the Fort Worth ISD will be able to have an experience abroad. Sister Cities is partnered with multiple cities worldwide. These cities are Budapest, Hungary, Nimes, France, Reggio Emilia, Italy, Toluca, Mexico, Trier, Germany, Guiyang, China, Nagaoka, Japan through the Harrison Scholar Program, and Mbabane, Eswatini. Trips are available for high school students, while the Nagaoka trip is available to 8th grade students as well. Students will learn new cultures, will represent and exchange the American culture and ideals to their host country. Students will learn leadership skills and communication skills. And students will learn about the importance for friendship and cooperation with a globalized world. The Fort Worth Sister Cities also has leadership programs that students can take. We have the International Leadership Academy. The program will encourage students to explore and focus on critical and current issues. Through ILA, they will gain essential leadership and communication skills through cross-cultural activities such as art, music, and language studies. Students can also dive into the Harrison Scholar Program, which is based on Nagaoka, Japan. We also have scholarships for students that are economically disadvantaged. With this being said, we would like to invite the board to our kickoff, which will take place at the Fort Worth UNT Carl E. Everett Education and Administration Building. This event, it will be available for the whole public, and it will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Spread the word to your principals, teachers, and community leaders about these wonderful opportunities that the Fort Worth ISD students can have, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Robert Baker.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm here again. I had a disturbing experience my first meeting with you guys, and I'm going to share what it was. When I got here, everybody gave honor to the American flag, the Texan flag, and I didn't hear anything in regards to God. Now, I'm going to share something with you from a true story, true event. In Nehemiah, first chapter, Nehemiah, Jerusalem was destroyed. And it was destroyed because God's people failed to recognize him. Now, let me tell you something. All your plans are nothing if you're ashamed to give a moment of time to acknowledge God in this building. I don't care how brilliant you are, you're not going to achieve anything. Not at that level that God wants you at. Now, it's your choice. You choose to be a failure, it's on you. Now, I know I speak hard, and I'm that type of guy. I got 49 years in law enforcement. I've been around some dangerous men in my lifetime. And the only one that has kept me from being hurt in any way, fashion, or form was my prayer every day, asking God to keep me. And he did. I'm a retired officer. So I'm telling you now, quit playing games with your brilliant minds. Do what you know you should be doing, because I called you brothers and sisters. Because I know each one of you have a level of understanding what faith is. And if you're afraid to get sued, you're afraid to stand up and call on God for help, well, you're doomed. You're doomed for failure. You're doomed to see everything that you've been seeing here, year after year. It can't be. It has to stop. You have to stop it. You have to be our leaders, and you have to lead us right. So I'm begging you, straighten it up, get right, and we'll see the success that our brilliant minds are putting together, because God will design it.
Thank you. Sue Ann Claunch and Dr. Bill Kaler are our final two speakers of the evening.
Dr. Scribner, Vice President Jackson, members of the board. First, I would like to commend this board for placing the rights of students above the noise of political agendas. Public schools are the heart of this nation and the hope of our future. Thank you for believing in our students. A number of critical leadership positions are to be filled tonight. Finally, this district is in a transition phase. I understand the logistics and the time needed to make good decisions, but much time has elapsed since these positions were vacated. We need leadership ready to make the decisions to move this district forward. To all who are here tonight, I wish you the best. I hope you're ready to run this race. The district is looking at attendance zone changes to provide for better service for our schools and our students. This will be a challenge, but needed. The first 6 weeks of school are a time of transition for students and teachers. We don't have a crystal ball to predict where families will be at the beginning of school, so we have the dreaded leveling process. It's disappointing for the teacher who has to leave a classroom to go to another, to say goodbye to students and begin again, building new bonds with one less 6 weeks to go before academic measures begin to define our year. It's even harder for our students. In the ideal world, you only have one kindergarten teacher. We're grateful for the substitutes that are hired, but they are poor Band-Aid for lack of strategic planning. Our teachers and our students deserve more. Even more difficult are special program classrooms where too many, in some instances 30 and 40 students are in a class, begin the year, and in that critical first of the year relationship building time, it's lost to sheer numbers. We talk about how valuable this part of the school year is, but are we doing it? In our special programs, special ed and programs for refugee and immigrant students, we devote a great deal of time to provide projections for the coming year. We don't have a crystal ball, but we do have patterns and tracking systems to support our students. A system this large has the resources to discern student movements. Talk to the departments when making decisions regarding staffing. Valuable teaching staff is lost to other programs, to other districts, and lost to their students. Last, as you're making strategic decisions for the year and the future, principals should not have the privilege of saying they don't want special programs on their campuses. This battle is played out every year as building improvements, other more attractive programs are invited into the campus, or other excuses such as our scores are too low to accept a program for any students who will take more of our time and resources. In the fight to make some schools better, other students are rejected because of need, because of language, because of behavior, and this is injustice. I'm well aware of the struggle to attain and maintain academic progress measures for campuses and districts, But we do this by providing a quality educational program for all of our students, not the ones whose parents have the time and resources to speak up for their children or speak the right language. As you go forward, please think of all the students and the programs needed for all students to reach their potential.
Thank you. Dr. Bill Kaler.
Not yet. Thank you.
Vice President Jackson, members of the board, Superintendent Scribner, I appreciate the opportunity to address you this evening. I assume we would all agree that an effective teacher is the most important variable in a student's education. To ensure that all children, and I emphasize all, have access to effective teachers, high-performing districts have a systematic process to recruit and hire, develop, and retain the most effective teachers. I would be less than candid with you if I did not tell you that such a process is difficult to develop, it is labor-intensive, and yet it is imperative if children are going to reach their potential. The report I will leave with you this evening is focused on the first step of the process, hiring the best teachers available. The annual hiring cycle begins in January, preceding the school year in August. With one exception, TEA classifies teachers hired after June as late hires. Study after study confirms that the later in the cycle a teacher is hired, the more likely that teacher will be less prepared, leave the district within a few years, and be placed in low-performing schools. None of these are conducive to helping students reach their potential. So what has been the hiring practice in Fort Worth ISD? This graphic attempts to summarize the hiring cycles in 2016, 17, and 18. First, I call your attention to the paucity of teachers hired in January through June. In 2016, we have incomplete information about hiring in January through June, but we do know that 777 teachers were hired in July, August, and September. That's the month before classes began, the month they began, and the month after they have begun. In 2017, 89% of all the new hires, 776 new teachers, were hired in this time frame, July through September. And in 2018, 90% of all new teachers were hired. That's 841. This late hiring practice was identified and reported to the then administration and board as early as 2014.
Time, please.
Yet this practice continues.
At this time, the board will recess and reconvene in regular session in the board conference room. As board president, I'm making the following statement in accordance with board policy BBFA local. This is a reminder to all board members of the legal conflict of interest requirements and disclosure requirements you may have for matters under consideration on the agenda for this meeting. If required by law, board members shall recuse themselves from all discussion and shall abstain from voting on any matter pertaining to such a disclosure. Are there any questions concerning consent agenda items this evening? Ms. Starr?
This is regarding, I have to be able to read my notes. This is regarding the purchase, B1, the purchase of Tinker coding program for elementary schools and students. And my question is I don't have it pulled up because I don't have my computer on yet, but it mentioned that, because I kept looking through there going, oh, which schools is this going to be? But what it said that there's going to be an application process, and can you just explain a little bit more about that process?
Yes, so really what it involves is really working with the schools to see what their plans are going to be to delivering this program. We don't want to just thrust something on them after they've already designed their schedules. So we want to work with the principals, give them some ideas of where this program could be used, and see how it best fits their program at the time. So that's really what it'll be. It's not necessarily a do you have this or that. It's kind of what your ideas are and how to roll it out so it serves the most kids.
Well, I agree that if there's an interest and if the school wants it to be there, it's far more likely to be used and used effectively and efficiently.
Right.
Are we looking at this program in order to, I'm intrigued by this whole coding thing, and I can see some kids really latching onto that and finding a niche or a skill that they might not otherwise know they have. Are we looking at this to try it out in schools to see if it's something we might want to
scale? Yes.
Get to use more widespread?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the goal. This and a couple other systems as well.
Okay.
That's the goal. We think it's a key component. Having that literacy in technology and with coding is something that's important for our students.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Alrighty.
you.
Thank you.
Trustee Evans.
All right, thank you. The MBK expansion, it says there's no cost, but it talks about an in-kind contribution valued at $87,500. What is that exactly?
Ricky Clark, who is our consultant that works with STEP, Strategies to Elevate People, secured funding to expand into middle school, which is something we've been wanting to do for a while. And so he did get funding for that from Sodexo Magic. And so that's how we're going to be able to expand the program.
Okay. Thank you. That's all for that one. And I did have one other question on E and F. Elsie or David? The transaction cost, is that a percentage of what they sell, or is it just a flat fee per transaction?
What the item?
E and F, those two transaction costs.
Are you talking about for the real estate brokerage services?
No, I'm sorry.
Forest Hill Police?
Oh, you know what? That's an action item.
Oh, that's
I'm so
action.
sorry.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
I was talking, sorry.
I do have a follow-up for Ms. Breed, if I could, on Trustee Evans' question. Did Sodexo Magic or any other individual go the long haul on this, or is this a one-time, one-year infusion of, I guess, $87,500?
At this time, it was only for the 1 year, my understanding. Now, I think there's plans to continue, but we're not clear on that. We'd have to work with Mr. Clark and his funder.
But if we expand and then we have to contract, that could be a challenge, and will you be coming back to this board to ask for the $87,500 if indeed we don't have the expansion dollars?
No, ma'am, I will not. And as a matter of fact, I think that's stated in the addendum that we would not come back to the board asking for district funding for MBK to expand.
But what will we do? Because the kids will have the program for 1 year and then they wouldn't further. So I'm just kind of looking for what is the plan B here. I
Karen,
just want to make sure that when we offer the amenity, the program's been successful. I'd just like to see the outcomes, and I'd also like to make sure that we can fund it, because it should stabilize schools and decrease mobility, I would hope, in the long haul.
and that's a good question. We're fairly confident that this will continue year after year. But Karen?
Yes, I actually was able to speak with Sodexo Magic on this board agenda item, and they, of course, have verbalized their commitment to us along with their partnership. So we feel confident that this will not be a one-year in-kind contribution.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Thank you all so much. All right, we'll now recess for executive session in this board conference room as authorized by Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code under Sections 551, 071, 2, 4, and 6.
Gold Seal Programs of Choice offer Fort Worth ISD families and students the power of choice, now more than ever. To go beyond the basic, beyond the traditional, to find the pathway that's a match to a student's interest, goals, and learning style. And just look at the programs to choose from. You've got goals and dreams for the future. We've got a high school experience to match.
There you go.
They can sign up.
Fort Worth ISD Gold Seal Programs of Choice are built for dreamers like you. The problem solvers, the curious minds, the creators of art and idea. Gold Seal programs deliver expert guidance, your checklist, hands-on learning, certifications, college credits, and community partners who support your learning. A great example? Our P-TECH early college high schools that combine high school, college, and career.
So the idea is to grow.
Students can earn an associate degree.
Ready to go?
Visit job sites, build relationships, and develop workplace skills and knowledge. Our partners enrich every Gold Seal program, open doors to careers, and put you ahead of the herd. There's a Gold Seal pathway to fit your interests.
So let's give it a shot.
Whether it's making machines run better and fly higher,
Sales inside up. Can't even place it better.
or improving health
Do you have any allergies?
and housing. Whether it's serving on the front lines,
Are y'all set? All right, we're ready.
or protecting citizens online.
Yeah, moving all the frames.
Bring your biggest dreams and determination here,
Really great product.
where you belong, in a Fort Worth ISD program of choice.
Take graphic.
Your choice. Pick your cutting-edge Gold Seal pathway to college, career, and community leadership. Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-1540. Fort Worth ISD is promoting college readiness in an even bigger way this year. We are competing in the FAFSA Race to Submit. Beginning October the 1st, every student who is planning to go to college or even thinking about going to college will want to be sure to fill out a FAFSA form. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's the document that determines a student's eligibility for federal financial aid for college, which may include grants, scholarships, work-study, and loans. But it's not just about financial need.
And those opportunities for you as a student are quite remarkable.
Completing the FAFSA should be top priority for every college-going student. You can't receive any college or university-sponsored scholarship money if you don't.
What they're going to do is take the best scores of each section.
And that's where the FAFSA Race to Submit comes in. The campuses with the highest percentage of increase in FAFSA completions will receive a recognition banner for their school. Your high school college coaches are available on your campus to help you complete the FAFSA. And we'll provide financial aid help sessions from October through May. Let the race to submit begin. Gold Seal Schools of Choice offer Fort Worth ISD families and students the power of choice, now more than ever. To go beyond the basic, beyond the traditional, to find the pathway that's a match to a student's interest, goals, and learning style. And just look at the schools to choose from. The atmosphere is electric at Fort Worth ISD Gold Seal Schools of Choice. These smaller, well-focused learning communities prepare students for college and careers in the most innovative ways.
This combines art and math.
Now we know what to do.
Every school day hums with activity and empowerment at Young Men's Leadership Academy and Young Women's Leadership Academy.
Come across one.
Future leaders are at work here, gaining knowledge, experiences, and character while developing lifelong strategies for success. Move toward your dreams at the IM Terrell Academy for STEM and VPA. On the STEM side, students design and problem solve in a high-tech makerspace. In VPA, students train in state-of-the-art studios and perform in a magnificent hall. The school's Cowan Academy in the Humanities elevates the study of literature, history, art, and philosophy. Imagine learning multiple languages, exploring global cultures, and taking academic courses in English and Spanish. The World Languages Institute is perfect for students from Spanish immersion and dual language programs, and anyone else eager to learn Spanish immersion style. Early college high schools merge high school, college, and career. Students go to school on Tarrant County College campuses and can earn an associate degree for free. Marine Creek Collegiate High School focuses on high academic achievement and skills for success.
Got a slightly movable
The
joint.
Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences is a hub of health science studies with hands-on laboratory learning supported by medical industry partners. TCC South Fort Worth ISD Collegiate High takes industry partnerships to a new level. It's the district's first P-TECH early college high school. Partners such as Encore and the Fort Worth Water Department help students build skills that industries want. Schools of choice are not just for older students. Collectively, 4 applied learning academies serve kindergarten through the 8th grade. Students apply their knowledge to solve real-life issues as they investigate the bigger world.
6 taken 2 times.
Our Montessori program guides kindergarten through 8th grade students in multi-age classrooms that are safe and respectful. Students work through lessons, interact with others, cultivate self-discipline, and take early ownership of their education. A great start to a lifetime of learning. Pick your cutting-edge Gold Seal pathway to college, career, and community leadership. Learn more at fwisd.org/choice or call 817-814-1540.
In accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:31 p.m. in this boardroom with a quorum present, recessed and reconvened, open session in the board conference room adjourned, regular session convened, executive session adjourned, executive session, and now reconvened open session at 8:05 p.m. in this boardroom with a quorum present. Do I have a motion accepting consent agenda items? Moved by Trustee Luebanos, seconded by Trustee Evans. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting as the computer allows. And the motion passes unanimously. 13A is obsolete. We didn't have any items removed from the consent agenda. Moving to 13B, which is personnel. Trustee Luebanos, did you have a motion for this board?
I do. I have a motion. I move to accept the superintendent's personal recommendation for the positions listed under executive session.
Trustee Luebanos has moved. Trustee Evans has seconded. Please move the voting. And the motion passes unanimously. Dr. Scribner?
Thank you very much. Ms. Jackson, members of the board, we are extremely grateful to the entire board for approving our recommendation to fill 5 vacant administrative positions, very important positions. First, with the board's action, we have welcomed on board here at Fort Worth ISD a chief internal auditor. His name is Aaron Munoz. Aaron, could you please stand? Give him a round of applause. Aaron comes to us from Dallas ISD, where he's a compliance officer. He also served the city of Dallas. He was the board subcommittee unanimous selection. We are very, very pleased to have you on board. Welcome to Fort Worth ISD. Second, we have filled our entire vacant, all 3 vacant positions in the academics division. We went almost a year. We are finally at full strength. First, we're very excited to remove the interim title and appoint Jerry Moore as our Chief Academic Officer. Congratulations, Jerry. Many of you have known Jerry much longer than I. He's been at Fort Worth ISD for 22 years, teacher, instructional specialist, assistant principal, principal, director. He was assistant superintendent of continuous improvement in policy and planning. He also was the unanimous recommendation from the committee. So congratulations, Jerry. Another position, assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction. This individual is Dr. Marcy Sorensen. She most recently was deputy chief of secondary schools in Madison, Wisconsin. She started her administrative career working as a principal in Chicago public schools. She has a great commitment to excellence and equity. She served in Chicago public schools as a principal and then as a principal supervisor. She earned her doctorate from the University of Illinois, and she'll be moving with her family here to Fort Worth, I assume before the Wisconsin winter. So we look forward to her joining us here very shortly. Also joining Fort Worth ISD is, she's not here. I'm sorry about that. But Cloris Rangel is here. And if you would please stand. Cloris will be serving as our new executive director for bilingual and ESL in the Division of Academics. Give her a round of applause. Cloris is coming to us from the director of dual language programs, Dallas ISD. She was a professional development specialist for Region 10 and is an active member and presented several times to the Council of Great City Schools. So welcome aboard. And finally, Jill Balzer from Birdville ISD. She's a principal at Birdville ISD. She is now an executive director in our school leadership division. Prior to Birdville, she was a teacher and principal in Round Rock and Killeen, doctor from Texas A&M, and we feel very excited about filling all 5 of these positions. Welcome aboard. Round of applause, please.
Thank you very much. Welcome to everyone. And I guess next time we can Skype somebody in when they're out of town.
All right. That's right.
We do that with board members. Their face is about this big on the screen. 14D, approve board resolution to authorize acquisition of lots 4, 5, and 6, and 7, Prince addition to the City of Fort Worth, Tarrant County, Texas, known as 5062, 5070, 5074 Willie Street, with market value final offer or by eminent domain if final offer is declined. Do I have a motion? Trustee Luebanos moves. Trustee Robbins seconds. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. 14E, approve order authorizing the issuance of Fort Worth Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building Bonds, Series 2019A, in one or more series, levying a continuing direct annual ad valorem, I can't say that word, ad valorem tax for the payment of such bonds and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, payment, and delivery of such bonds, including establishing procedures and delegating matters to authorized district officials. Moved by Trustee Luebanos, seconded by Trustee Phillips. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. 14F, approve order authorizing the issuance of the Fort Worth Independent School District Unlimited Tax Refunding Bonds Series 2019B and one or more series levying a continuing direct annual ad valorem tax for the payment of such bonds and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, payment, and delivery of such bonds, including establishing procedures and delegating matters to authorized district officials. Moved by Trustee Luebanos, seconded by Trustee Jackson. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. 14G, approved board resolution and contract of sale to purchase or acquire by eminent domain a 15-acre parcel out of Nathan Proctor Survey, Abstract 1229, Tract 1, Tarrant County, Texas, 76126, also known as 1901 RM Road, 2871, Fort Worth, Texas, 76126. Moved by Trustee Luebanos, seconded by Trustee Robbins. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. 14H, approves second reading revision to board policies CCG local, CCGA local, and CH local. Moved by Trustee Darr, seconded by Trustee Robbins. Seeing and hearing no discussion, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. We have moved on to 15, comments by board members or superintendent on current district activities and announcements. Are there any comments or announcements this evening? Trustee Darr.
I would like to welcome our new employees. I'm glad and I'm excited, and I think we have a really great opportunity. We have an opportunity to look at the initiatives that we have in place, to look at the programs that we are using, and to truly evaluate, are they what is best for students, and are we seeing the results that we want? I challenge you to really take a long look at some of those initiatives and at some of those programs to make sure that we are reaping the benefits, that our children are benefiting from those, because we have a full academic team now, and that is fantastic. It is exciting. It energizes me. I hope it energizes you, and I expect it to energize this district. So thank you for your service, and I look forward to some great things.
And with no other comments, I think Trustee Darr's words are great ones to adjourn on.